The real estate market just got flipped on its head.
Are you okay?
Ouch!
The National Association of Realtors, their massive settlement has officially kicked off as of August 17th. And if you're not up to speed on the new rules, you could be left in the dust, okay? So whether you're a buyer or you're a seller or you're an agent, right? These changes are already shaking up the industry as we know it. So let's dive into what's happening and what to expect going forward. Let's go. If this is your first time on this channel, you want to know everything there is to know about living in Chicago, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market in Chicago. Hey, what's up? It's your boy Marlon here with my team, and I'm here to be your local guide on all things Chicago. So if you're thinking about making that move to Chicago, use a call, send us text, send us email so we can help you make a smooth move to the city of Chicago. But let's talk about what just happened. All right, let's start things off with a quick rundown on what's been going on, okay? NAR has been under a microscope for a while now, with some people saying that their practices actually made it hard for buyers and sellers to get a fair deal. Okay, sellers were upset that they were responsible for paying both agents in the transaction. Okay, so they sued, right? A lawsuit ensued, and after a bunch of legal back and forth, we finally got a settlement, and it's going to be bringing some big changes to the real estate industry. Okay, so what's this all about? Well, it's mainly about the commissions and transparency. Okay, for years now, the way commissions were handled wasn't necessarily clear to all the parties, okay, especially the buyers. You know how the sellers typically pay the buyer's agent? Did you know that? Well, a lot of people didn't, and it frequently led to situations where buyers weren't really sure who was paying their agent. They just knew they were buying a home. But wait, let's back up a bit, okay? Why do we even have buyer's agents? Prior to the early 1990s, there was no such thing as a buyer's agent. There were only seller's agents who negotiated and represented the person selling their home. So remember, if you ever go to a seller's agent directly, they work and protect the best interests of the seller. But if you were a buyer, you were left in the cold to fend for yourself, okay? And this often led to exploitation and sellers taking advantage of buyers who just simply didn't know better, okay? So in comes NAR to save the buyers. They implemented a buyer agency to protect the buyer's interests in the transaction, okay? So this made things a lot smoother for both parties engaged until it did, right? Sellers began to realize that it was still unfair for them to pay both agents and sacrifice 5 to 6% of their home value. So here we are now. Let's talk about what changed on August 17th, 2024, okay? When the settlement was reached, NAR agreed to pay $418 million in damages, and they agreed to make changes to the commission rules, okay? Here's a quick rundown on what's now in place. Number one, negotiable commissions, right? Buyers now have the power to negotiate the commissions paid to their agent. This wasn't always the case before, but now it's all about giving the buyers more control over their representation. Sellers now have the option to pay zero to the buyer's agent and only compensate the listing agent if they so choose. Number two, no showing without buyer representation agreement. Yep, that's right. Buyers must now sign a buyer rep agreement before a realtor will show you any home, okay? In this agreement, compensation will also be negotiated. Right, these agreements will link the agent and the buyer together for a day or 3 to 6 months or however long is agreed upon between the two parties. Number three, no more commissions on the MLS, right? The old rule that required a set of commissions for buyers agents is now gone, okay? The MLS will no longer display commission offers to the buyer's agent. The sellers could still offer compensation to help sell their home, but this must also be negotiated off the MLS, okay? So now agents have to call ahead and see if the listing is offering buyer compensation or not, okay? What this is supposed to do is supposed to help prevent agents from steering buyers away from the listing offering little to no buyer's compensation, okay? So what does this all mean for you? Let's get into it. For buyers in Chicago, you will now be required to sign a buyer's rep agreement before touring any homes, okay? So if you choose to just call the listing agent to view a home, or you find yourself at an open house unrepresented, just remember that that agent represents the seller, and any information that you give them is not confidential. It is in your best interest to have your own agent, and yes, you will have to negotiate compensating your agent. This may scare some buyers, but it is important to remember that you are hiring someone to protect you and your best interest. Okay, so this is going to help you make better decisions and choose an agent that fits you the best, okay? I recommend interviewing at least 2 to 3 agents and fully understanding what they will offer. Will they just open doors for you? Will they open doors and possibly write a contract for you? Or will they be a full service agent helping you every step from the showing all the way to the closing table, okay? So this is important information for buyers to know before selecting an agent. Okay, but what about just working with the listing agent? Here is where you should proceed with caution, okay? If you ever choose to work with a listing agent as a potential buyer, you will be entering into a dual agency agreement where the agent represents both the seller and you, the buyer. But their fiduciary duties are first to the seller, so they will not be helping you as much as you may think. Okay, and confidentiality is a concern because of the conflict of interest, right? So this is why both parties must agree and they must sign off on it, okay? So now this may be okay for a seasoned home buyer, but what about those first-time home buyers, right? They will need someone who is exclusively on their side and can protect their interests, right? While also guiding them through the deal. For sellers, not much has changed, right? You got what you asked for, right? More control over what you're offering to pay the buyer's agent, or whether you want to offer anything at all, right? That is your choice, right? This could make your home more attractive to buyers who are looking to try to save on their commission costs, or it could mean fewer offers on your property. Okay, it's really all about how you want your sales experience to go. And for agents, it's now time to be more transparent and competitive than ever, right? With buyers now able to negotiate your commission, you will need to clearly show and state the value that you bring to the table. Okay, so with sellers now having the option to offer 0 to the buyer's agent, you will need to educate them on why they should at least consider offering it. So what does this mean for the future of real estate? Well, a couple things, okay? Human nature tells us that if people are presented with the option to pay a fee or not, typically they choose to avoid the fee.
I'm not paying any of you.
Right? But for buyers, what this will mean is they will lose out on representation, and negotiations will be a lot more difficult for them, okay? Making them once again vulnerable to exploitation from sellers. For sellers avoiding to pay buyers agents, they could see a loss on potential offers on their homes, and their homes will most likely sit on the market for longer than actually necessary, okay? They will also experience buyers offering less than the asking price because they have to now compensate for their own agent, or they will ask via their offer for the seller to help compensate their agent, right? So we could also see, maybe some changes on how properties are marketed, with sellers being a lot more selective on their commissions. We could see some changes there, but we also will know that this time will tell, right? So going forward, to keep things short, right, there's always been different forms of compensation for agents, like a flat fee or a percentage or even hourly. But, now it's more important than ever that you know exactly what you're getting when you're choosing your agent, okay? So the real estate market is going to continue to evolve, and those who adapt, they will thrive, okay? So agents and realtors, just remember, they're not the enemy, okay? They work and protect their clients' best interests. So be kind to them, right? We're nice people, okay? So that's the rundown on the new NAR rules and how they are already impacting the real estate market, okay? So if you have any questions or are looking for a good agent in your area, right, reach out to me. My contact information is below, right? It is super important to stay in the loop and adjust to these changes as well, right? So if you are looking to buy or sell a home in Chicago, shoot us an email or set up a Zoom call. We would love to represent you in your best interest, right? So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, right? Share it with someone who needs to know, right, this. And of course, right, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss out on any more future updates, okay? Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you on the next video.